Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Lee. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video today. Now today we're back with one of my favorite swimwear brands, which is Berlook. They sell all kinds of really beautiful swimwear and in my opinion a lot of stuff that's quite unique compared to other stuff on the market. I have a mix of both bikinis and one pieces for us to take a look at today. Some cute like sort of cover-up situations as well. So we will try them all on and hopefully I can help you decide if you want to try any of these for yourself. Now before we get into it, like always, I will include every single piece that I got, what size I got, and a link to each one down in the description box. So if you do want to try any of these for yourself or you just want more information about them, you can find all of that info down there. And in general at Berlook, I always size up to a large in all of their swimwear. I do find that it fits a little bit smaller than typical like North American brands, so I would just recommend taking a look at their size chart before you place your order. And in terms of pricing, I would say it is a little bit higher than something like an Airy swimsuit, definitely more of like a mid-range pricing. However, I also feel like the quality of the suits justifies that. I've had a couple of these suits for a few years now and I feel like they still look really good, they feel really good even after wearing them multiple times. And in general, like the fabric of these suits is much thicker, everything is double lined, and I just feel like they are definitely like much higher quality suits than what I've come to expect from some of the cheaper swimwear places. So definitely a great place to go if you're looking for a couple of like really nice suits that are gonna last. And with that, we've got quite a few suits to look at today, so let's take a look at our first option. So first up we have this very adorable, almost like a tankini but cropped, if that makes sense, in this really beautiful dark burgundy color. I thought that this was so cute for like fall and winter, so if you're going somewhere on vacation during those months or you're blessed to live somewhere that's warm year-round, this could be very cute in those months. Now one thing that I do like about a lot of the Berlook tops, I feel like they actually have decent amounts of support for your chest. So I typically wear a 34G and this is actually fitting me perfectly and I feel like I actually have support in here, which is not common for a lot of cheaper bikini tops. So these strings that you see tied here are connected all the way through up into the straps. So if you tie this tighter, you are getting shorter straps, so it is adjustable in the straps, and it's also cinching things in towards the middle. So you can see this is kind of like a keyhole underneath. And then it also is tighter, like there's a seam that runs right under the bust. And while it's not like super tight, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. I do think that it's kind of creating the perfect pocket for my bust to sit here and actually get like a little bit of lift without feeling super uncomfortable or needing like an underwire or anything. It has this nice little like tankini ruffle coming down from it, and from the back it basically just looks like a little tank. I think that it is super cute. I also love this little like laser cut design on it. I think that that's really pretty, almost makes it look crocheted. And then the bottoms on this, you can see that these are like what I would consider a mid-rise bottom. I think people significantly younger than me would consider this low-rise, but I know that bikinis can get so much lower than this. I would consider it mid-rise. Fairly small standard bikini, and I would say that it has like medium coverage at the back. It's not super skimpy necessarily. I think that it looks much smaller from the front than it does from the back, but this is a very adorable swimsuit. I think that it looks great. I love the color of it, and I think if you just want something that's like a little bit more than a tiny triangle bikini top, this could be a very cute option. All right, next up we have a one-piece swimsuit and a little cover-up that I thought went so well with it. So you can see obviously this is like a black one-piece. It has the little gold detailing, and then the skirt is like a maxi style skirt. It has this nice slit in the front with the extra pieces hanging down the middle. Obviously quite long on me. I'm only 5'1". I would say that it's slightly too long. Obviously you could pull it up a little higher if you wanted to, but I feel like this just looks so cute together. Perfect for a romantic vacation. You want like a kind of sexy, pretty cover up, or if you just want to take some really cute Instagram pictures, I also think this would be adorable for that. I'm picturing like some photo shoots on the beach. I think that it would look super pretty in pictures. I also really like that this skirt has a kind of opaque section at the top. So I do think that you could actually throw this skirt on and go get lunch or whatever you want to do with it. Now, obviously this does have, he's a little bit covered covered, but this little gold starfish kind of applique at the top. I think that's very cute. That's why I wanted to pair it with this swimsuit that also has like the little touch of gold. I think that they look very good together. And this Coverup is just super stretchy. So very comfortable to wear, easy to get on and off if you are like going to go get in the pool or whatever. I think that that is super cute. So definitely recommend that. Next we have the swimsuit. So once again, obviously this is quite a plunging deep V, which as I've said before, I prefer that usually if I have like a more full coverage one piece. I like to have a little something going on, either higher cut on the leg or cheekier at the back or cleavage or something, just so it's not too boring. We've got the tiny little seashell design, which I think is quite cute. And I feel really secure in here. Sometimes you get swimsuits like this and it feels way too wide, like you're gonna pop out. This one does not, and I think that's because it is so adjustable at the back. So these straps are coming back, crisscrossing, and then you are tying them. So you can have this as tight as you need it to be. Really lift things up if you want to, or have it sitting a little lower if that's more comfy. But you don't have to worry about this shifting around because it is tied up at the back. Now you can see this is hitting me basically like a standard bikini across the hips. I do usually prefer something that's slightly higher cut just to make my legs look a little bit longer. And obviously you could pull these up and ruche them up if you wanted to. And then once again, I would say this is like a medium coverage from the back. And then obviously you have pretty much an open back with that tie. Definitely quite cute. And I think especially with the little matching skirt, it makes for a real showstopper one piece. All right, next up we have this light purple and white like patterned bikini with a floral pattern. And this, unfortunately, both pieces fit awkwardly in a completely opposite way. So first the top, the band on this top is just too loose for me. So the entire thing is fitting like a little bit insecure. The whole bottom here wants to kind of like flip up and over. So I'm constantly having to like pull it back down into place because it's just simply too loose. There's not an adjustment on this one. It is just one of these little like clip style clasps. So unfortunately you're kind of stuck with the band size that you get. But I think if I had have gone down to a medium to get that band size right, there's no way I would have been fitting in the cups. As it is now, I already feel like I'm like spilling out the sides, spilling out the top. So not the best fit for me. Simultaneously too big in the band, but too small in the cups. Now this does have adjustable straps, just not an adjustable band. And then the bottoms are too tight. They're simply too tight. You can see I have like a little bit of muffin top, over the bottom. They're just like very tight fitting compared to any Berlook bottoms I have ever tried. Now they do have this kind of like mini crossover waist. I would consider this pretty high rise for Berlook. Like most of their bikinis are like quite skimpy, quite low rise. So this is pretty high for them. But unfortunately it is just quite tight. You can see this one is also like a full coverage at the back. So if you prefer a more full coverage bottom, this would probably be a good choice for you, but I would probably size up in the bottoms. Hopefully you have a smaller bust than me for the top if you're gonna get this top. Now I should mention this, at Berlook you get the tops and bottoms separately, so you can get two different sizes. They also usually have for every single like pattern and color at least two choices for bottom styles and top styles. So typically they'll have like one underwire style and then one other assorted style, kind of just depends. And then they'll typically have one teeny tiny skimpy bikini bottom and then one slightly more coverage. Not always, but that's like generally what I see when I'm on their site. And once again, I've tried tons of different suits from them. That's usually how it goes. And you can buy them in different sizes, obviously. All right, next up we've got this brown one piece. I love brown. It's so funny because I never wore it for years. And I think that if you watch stuff, especially in the fall, for the past few years, I'm always gravitating towards brown everything. I just think that it looks better on me than black. Like it's just a better neutral for my skin tone, my vibe, matching with my hair. I think that it just looks better on me, which is funny because every other woman in my family wears almost exclusively black. Very funny. So this little one piece I was intrigued by because once again, from the front, it kind of just looks like a one piece, but from the back, got all of these different ties. And that's making it once again very adjustable. So those ties at the back are coming off of these straps, which means that you can have this hiked as high as you need it. And once again, we've got this seam that runs under the bust that is a little bit tighter. So as you pull that up, it is actually like lifting your bust with it. So you could have things sitting really high if you wanted. I kind of left things sitting a little more natural naturally. I think that that looks nice and it feels really comfy, but I definitely do still have like a little bit of lift, a little support. It's feeling good and comfortable in there. Now this one is slightly higher cut on the leg. I think that that looks really good. You could obviously hike it a little bit more if you wanted to, but I think that it looks pretty. It is this thick ribbed fabric, and because of where that seam is hitting, I think that your bust looks really good from the side in this as well. And then from the back, obviously we have all of the different crisscrossing ties. I just have it tied down here. You could play with this back if you wanted it to look slightly different and tie it in a couple of different ways, but I like how this looks. I like that it's kind of just an open back. And then for bum coverage, this is probably the lowest amount of bum coverage that we've had for any of them, which in a one piece that's a little more plain from the front, I actually really like that amount of coverage. I think that it looks good. It fits nice and comfy. It doesn't feel like it's going to pull into the center any more than this. So I definitely love this one. I know for a fact that I will wear this. I think that it's very cute. Great if you want something that's like a one piece, secure, you're actually going swimming in it, but you still want it to be like a little bit cute, because we're cutesy from the back, but we still have enough coverage from the front that we don't have to worry about anything slipping out. All right, and last but not least, we have this lurex kind of sparkly leopard print bikini. I did specifically want to highlight that Berlook has a lot of things in this like shiny lurex fabric. However, unlike a lot of things that are made of this like really sparkly fabric, these are not scratchy. Like you can hear as I rub my hand on there, it doesn't sound rough and scratchy. It just sounds like regular fabric, and it feels like regular fabric, which is amazing because you get that like glimmery shine in the sun, like it really catches the light, but it also doesn't rip apart your skin, which is amazing. All of the lurex pieces from Berlook are like this. They're all like very soft, so I would not worry about them hurting you when you're wearing them, which is really nice. Now, this bikini I think fits me slightly awkwardly, or maybe I'm just not used to this style. So it is an underwire bikini, but then it just kind of has the little strings that like keep it together. Kind of crazy. Usually with an underwire bikini, I'm seeing like thicker straps to give you more support, whatever. This one is following a really similar principle to the one pieces that we've looked at, where it kind of crisscrosses and ties in the back. So once again, you can lift this as high as you need, and you have an underwire that is really providing a lot of support. Things are feeling high and lifted in this. They're feeling very supported, and I could definitely wear this all day and not get any like neck pain or anything because things are lifted nice and high. And the underwire in this is not actually digging in. It's actually sitting nice and comfortably. For me, it's even sitting like slightly off of my ribs, but I think that it still looks fine and it still feels really comfortable. So I don't hate it. Then we have these bottoms, once again, fairly tiny. I would consider this just like a mid-rise at Berlook. Fairly high cut on the sides, and these ones are also fairly cheeky at the back. So this is definitely like a smaller bikini option if you want something a little bit skimpy, but still with some support for the chest. And they do make like way smaller, skimpier string bikinis if you want that. As an example, I own this one from Berlook. That's one of the tiniest bikinis I own. That's just like tiny string ties on the back. You can see the front is basically the same size as the back is. Very cute, very, very skimpy. It just depends what you're looking for. But then of course they also have a lot of one pieces, a lot of higher coverage bottoms. So really, I do think that they have something for everyone and a lot of stuff that's really unique. So overall, some very cute swimsuits. I think my favorites are the two one pieces. Like those are definitely the two things that spoke to me most here. I also really liked that burgundy kind of half tankini bikini, a bit of a tongue twister. And that black Coverup that went with the black one piece I think is super cute as well. But like always, be sure to let me know which pieces were your favorite. And once again, gigantic thank you to Berlook for sending over these pieces. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you are going somewhere warm and need a bikini sometime soon. And that's why you're watching this video, because God knows we could all use a vacation. The world is crazy. And with that, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that you have a fabulous day and that I'll see you next time. Bye!